Hello, everybody. Welcome to AP-CSP for the week of March 4th. I thought that I would give you a little video tour with some information this week to kind of help make sure everyone is on track and where they need to be. I have moved some information up to the top of the Google Classroom stream, the information and documents in case you're looking for materials, as well as the information on how to load into Digital Portfolio if you've not done that yet. At the top, you will see the most current assignments and information, starting with the Google Slides for the week. It's got all of the information on what you need to be working on this week. So I'm going to focus kind of on what you need to be working on. First thing is going to be to kind of take a look back at last week's exit card. I'm waiting for Mr. Sargent to create the slides for this. This should be a live document soon to look back on the information about abstractions and algorithms to make sure that you are clear on what you need to include in your program as you are programming this week. There is a short form that I need everyone to take that just confirms if you are or are not going to be participating in the actual Create PT and getting scored for the Create PT. If you decide not to take the exam this year and not to submit your items to College Board, we need to know this to make sure that no documents are loaded and that College Board does not charge you for that. If you choose not to take the exam, you do still need to complete the Create PT because that will be part of your fourth quarter grades. So this week you're working on finishing the programming for your Create PT, and we expect that most people will do this in 2 different sessions. If you choose to do this all in one sitting and finish programming, then we ask that you take a break after the first 30 to 45 minutes and complete journal entry number 4. And then when you complete all of your programming, complete journal entry number 5. But you should plan on having all of your coding done this week. In the journals, make sure that you include screenshots of all of your screens. And as you're going through this, make sure that you are citing all of your images. You may lose all credit for the Create PT if your images are not cited. Remember that all of your programming should be done in the Create PT unit, Lesson 3, Bubble 2. And once you are done programming, you should begin and complete the answer to question 2B in one of the 2 rough draft documents, and I will show you those in a minute. Also, there is an exit card on question 2B, and where you are in your programming, you may find it useful to take a look at the exit card before you actually begin programming this week, or at least before you begin answering question 2B. So we've created some slides for you. You can go through, see the question and scoring guidelines for 2B, answer some questions about that, see some information to help you prepare and go through those questions. A few answers to some questions that have been asked. Yes, you do need to pay for the AP exam. I understand that you're not taking a 45-minute exam, but by submitting your Create PT and your Explore PT, you are taking the exam. And details for that are in this link. Journal number 2 was the pseudocoding and planning. You needed to think about where your student-created functions would be. Journals 3, 4, and 5, you need to include screenshots of your code. Yes, feel free to work ahead as you are going through this. I have posted the files for written responses and a video for how to record your video. Also, last week, there was a webinar hosted by College Board that explains a lot more information about the way the exam will work, and I have created a set of slides for those of you who are taking other AP classes that may want more information about that, including links to the demo and other important information. So this week for the Create PT, like I said, you should go back and review the feedback that I've given you on previous journal entries. You may want to look back at code that you have written already. Look at the prep packets. Make sure this week that you have and are able to locate your main algorithm, the 2 sub-algorithms, and your student-created abstraction. Remember that on events do not count for those. And make sure that you are citing all of your images. It does not need to be a formal citation, just a comment in your code, maybe the name of the image, and then the direct link. And that's all you need to do to cite those. So this week you're finishing programming and answering 2B. Next week you'll be answering 2C and 2D. And then the last week before you need to submit it, you'll be recording the video, answering question 2A, and creating a PDF of your code. Make sure in this week's Create PTs, again, that you are including screenshots. I know it's not written in the directions, but it's something that we have added to the assignment. So please make sure that you're doing that. As you continue on, remember, the purpose of the journal is to help you when you actually get to the point where you are starting to respond to questions 2B, 2C, and 2D. So look back at the journal. Look at where you had difficulties or opportunities, where you created abstractions and algorithms in your code. There's some more information about citing images and pseudocode for anyone who might want it, as well as kind of the full schedule of what's going on. And here's that video on how to record if you get really far ahead. Remember that in your journal, you should have completed entry number 1, entry number 2, and entry number 3 as of last week. So this week you should be focusing on entry number 4 and entry number 5. As you're going through this, remember it does not need to be complete sentences. And it may be that when you get to a question like this question, you may only be able to answer the abstraction part or only answer this sub-algorithm and main algorithm section. That's fine. And you may not necessarily have any difficulties or opportunities, but you should be completing at least what you accomplished, 1 or 2 of these items, and a reflection on how testing and running and debugging of your code went. On Google Classroom, we have posted 2 different templates that you can use for your written responses. So I'm going to spend a minute or 2 going through those once you get ready to respond to question 2B. Again, we're doing these kind of out of order because we want to make sure that you complete the questions in an order that's going to get you the most points, but also to help you in what's freshest in your mind at the time. So this document is the one from code.org. It has the question that you should be working on, including information about word counts that you should not go over. Then some advice to help you when you are planning out your response, a place to draft your response, and then a place to kind of check off and make sure that you have answered all of the different parts of the question. And again, this week you should only really be focusing on question 2B. If you want to, you can always go through and complete and continue working. After 2B, you should start working on 2C and 2D, which are next week's assignments. Between 2B, 2C, and 2D is where you will find the majority of the points, 7 out of the 8 points for this PT. The other option, if you want to use it, is more of a kind of graphic organizer, which gives you a place to draft your responses to question 2A, 2B, the 2 different parts, kind of plan them out, 2C, and 2D. Whichever one you choose to use, or if you want to create your own document to draft your responses, that is totally fine. We will be posting the final document for you to post your answers in later this week. So I hope that helps answer some questions. Remember that you can always stop by the Zoom office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:30 to 4 o'clock and ask questions live. Or if you would like to make an appointment and talk through something at another time, please send me a message through Remind or through email, and we can set up a time to look through your stuff. But also remember that there are some questions I cannot answer based on the fact that you are submitting this to College Board, but I will try to steer you in the right direction. I hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy. If you are getting bogged down or if you have questions, please reach out and let me know. I would like to hear from you so I know that at least you're doing okay, or find any ways that I may be able to help you. So, bye.